Hello, hello. Today we're going to talk about, is just dismissing my lower brain willpower? I have a client I'm really working with right now on her better understanding that she, the person, is not her lower brain. And here's, in my journey, again, I'm just going to keep saying this, I could not explain any of this to you in the way that I'm explaining it to you now. All I knew was, here's 30-something-year-old Heather, all I knew was that voice in my head said to do things that led me in the opposite direction of what I really wanted for myself. So you have to think of this logically. How is it that there is a version of you that wants to get healthy, wants to eat better, wants to work out, has all these great plans, and then there's this other version of you that comes in and sabotages it every day? How can they both be you? They can't. They aren't. And that's the most important thing. And see, I couldn't have talked about higher brain, lower brain, any of that stuff. All I knew is that voice. There was a voice inside of my head that was not me. That always caused me to self-sabotage, usually backslide, usually gain weight. So I called it Heather and not Heather, not me. And I would get really good at starting to identify that voice. And then when it said the same things that it always said, hey, you had a really bad day today, just this once won't matter, we'll start again tomorrow. Or, what's the point in journaling all this? We'll just start fresh tomorrow. Or, that seems really difficult and you've had a really rough day. Let's not do that. Like I would hear these same messages on repeat. And or the other one I really loved was, you have so much weight to lose. What's one more day really gonna matter? Like things like that. It was very, very dismissive of today, saying that today didn't count and didn't matter. But tomorrow we would start afresh, start anew. And I got really good at saying, nope, I hear you. But just for this 24 hours, we're going to do the plan. Just for this 24 hours, we're going to not switch gears. Tomorrow we can do all those things. I would push everything off tomorrow because it was the opposite of what I would normally do. So this good question that came from my client was, all right, I'm hearing all this, but how is this not me just using willpower? So willpower, the definition of willpower is to control your thoughts and your behaviors. And the most important thing that I can tell you is that the thoughts that you have, they just kind of run through you, especially those lower brain thoughts. You don't control those thoughts. They just show up when they show up, and they usually show up on repeat, and they usually say the same thing. So you can't control them. But what you can start to do is ignore them. And I use this analogy. You have this adorable toddler dropped off at your house, and the person says to you, hey, I'm going to be out of the town for the week or day or whatever. Could you watch my toddler? And so you agree to do it. So this toddler literally follows you around all day and says, hey, take me to Disney World. Hey, I want 3 scoops of ice cream. Hey, I want 2 brownies. Hey, take me to the arcade. Constantly telling you what it wants, what he or she wants you to do. And do you literally stop every single time and take this kid to do all the things he or she wants to do whenever they want to do it? Probably not, because you've got your own agenda. You see this cute, adorable 3-year-old, and you're like, he's adorable. He has no clue what real life is, so I'm not even gonna entertain these thoughts, right? It's not like every time he speaks to you, you stop and go, going to Disney would be a good idea. You don't do that. You just are like, yes, sweetheart, that sounds like a great idea. I would love to go to Disney someday, but today we're probably not going to get to do that, right? You're very easy to let go. There's no drama. There's no fighting. There's no, oh my gosh, I have to make this kid understand that we're not going to Disney. You get that that's kind of a futile effort that you're going to be going under. So because of that, you kind of relax about it. It's not about you fighting anybody, willpowering the 3-year-old. You just are like, hey babe, no, not today. Not going to do it today. Not a big deal. And it's no drama, right? The problem is you think, and it's just because for years and years, you've heard this talking in your head. It's in your voice. It sounds like your voice, not the toddler's voice. It's in your voice, and it's saying things that are super familiar. And when we feel comfortable doing familiar things, we repeat that habit. And a long, long time ago, go back to the Thinking Leads to Eating series, a long time ago, somewhere in your past, you felt uncomfortable. Maybe somebody was arguing, maybe you lost a toy, maybe you had a bad day at school, something happened, and you ate something. Cookie, grandma offered a cookie, maybe at a candy bar, something happened. And what happened in your brain, for your lower brain, is she had a bad day, felt sad, stressed, anxious. We ate candy, felt better, and it only matters that it felt better for a few seconds. Okay, it doesn't matter that you didn't feel good the rest of the day. It's just for that few seconds, momentary relief. So now, over years of doing it, 20, 30, 15 years of doing this process, that has been reinforced. Every time you've had a bad day and you've eaten a candy bar and you feel better for 5 minutes, we've reinforced that connection. But that does not mean that connection cannot be fading away over time and eventually become, it may still always be there, but it doesn't have to be the prominent thing you go to, okay? And so it's not a willpower thing. It's an honest to gosh realization. This is a record player that is on a loop and it plays the same song every single day. And it's saying the exact same thing every single day. And all you have to do is, in your mind, picture the toddler following you around saying, oh, I want this, I want that, da 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 da. And you would just be like, yeah, sweetheart, pat, 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 send them on their way. Hey, go play with some Legos. You wouldn't give it the time of day. The hard part in all this is the kind of acknowledgement of where that voice is coming from. And it is the ability to just say, not today, sweetheart, we'll do it tomorrow, and redirect. Because the you that wants the better things for herself or himself, that version of you cannot also be the toddler. That makes no sense. Like in your head, when you picture the toddler, you're seeing a separate being. So that really helps you. But what you have to realize is like that little separate being exists in your head, okay? And it's talking to you all day long about, and not just food, by the way. It can talk to you about your job. Oh my God, I hate my job. I need to retire, or I need to switch careers. I have one client, it's so funny. Whenever she has a bad day at work, one of the first things she does is jump online to look for other jobs. And she submits her resume. Ironically, she got another job. But the thing is, we have other habitual patterns of behavior. This is, by the way, you never meet a 10-year-old who looks at you and goes, you know what I want to be when I'm 30? A raging alcoholic. Like, who at 10 decides they want to become a raging alcoholic? It doesn't start like that. It starts this exact same way. They had a bad day. Somebody offered them alcohol, or somebody left alcohol out. They drank some, felt better for a moment. Those two things got fused together. So then as this person proceeds through life, every time they feel bad, their lower brain offers up alcohol. And the tricky thing is, with some other issues, it's easy to completely abstain, but with food it is not. So this is why learning to do the opposite can be extremely helpful. But I don't see this as being a willpower thing, because one, you're never going to shut it off. That thought will always show up. It still shows up for me. Those thoughts will still show up. You just get so much better at being desensitized to it by doing the opposite, by just identifying, this is not me. When you can see it's not you, it's a chatty Cathy up inside your head, but it's not you, it's a game changer. So I hope this message helps. If you guys are liking my content and you want some more help, you can always join me on the podcast premium. We have every single Half Size Me episode on there, including coaching series that would be very beneficial. Just go to halfsizeme.com/fan, and you have a fantastic day. I'll talk to you soon.